We all know what that means. We are so excited to have with us attorney Theodore Ted London. How are you?
Hey, Mr. Tiwa, how are you today?
I am fantastic, and I must admit off top, I have no idea what song that was today.
Oh, that was Jamiroquai.
Was
you know
it?
What? I thought you would have known that.
Oh, shame
and then,
on
you know
me.
What? Yeah, you know what? And Breon just told me that I'm old learning about this Jamiroquai guy, which I just discovered him a couple of months ago. And right. Breon just told me, dude, he's been out for some years. But I just discovered him maybe a couple of months ago, and he is now one of my favorites. You spell his name Jamiroquai, Jamiroquai. They're a British band, and just really, really liking all that I'm hearing from them.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that introduction to that song. It was wonderful, and I know you've got some business to take care of.
You know what? Let's say hello to my beautiful, wonderful wife, Kelly, who is listening. Kelly, I love you very much, dear. Thanks for listening. I want to also take a couple of moments just to say hello to all of you listeners who tune in to the Legal Line every Thursday at 3:30. I'm so grateful that so many of you call and you come by, you share that you do listen to the Legal Line every Thursday and have been listening for years. So grateful for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, why don't you invite some of your friends and family to tune into the Legal Line, and they can get in on some of the great discussions that we have about estate planning, probate. And over the last month or so, I've been encouraging black folks to patronize black businesses. And in that regard, we're joined by Mr. Eugene Delanato, the publisher of the Black Pages International. And so we always hear about black folks not knowing where to find black businesses, but the Black Pages International, which is published by Mr. Eugene Delanato, it lays it all out for you. So let's bring Mr. Delanato in right away so we can get right into this topic today. Mr. Delanato, welcome, sir.
Thank you, Ted. It's a pleasure to be back here, to be at WVON, and to be on your show. So it's always a pleasure to interact with you guys. So I learned something, we share something, and that's what I think is instructive for everybody. Learn something new every day.
Now, you know what? You know, the purpose of this segment that we've been doing for the last 4 weeks or so now is we want to encourage black folks to patronize black businesses, and really we want to encourage black people to own black businesses. Mr. Delanato and Atiba, listen to this. I don't think that black folks realize how much money is in our community and in the businesses in our communities, the gas stations, the grocery stores, the hair shops, the nail shops, the liquor stores, the fast food stores, and even the storefronts. They're all owned by people outside of our communities, and these businesses are cash cows. Why don't we own these businesses in our own communities these days?
Because we don't believe we should.
Is it as simple as that, Mr. Delanato?
That simple.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think that a lot of times when you see a lack of success or a lack of something in a very severe lack, it's usually due to a lack of expectation. We've seen so many times that, you know, when a good principal comes into a school, how do they turn the grades around? The biggest thing they do is set the expectation. And I think that's, the expectation, I think, is the thing that we need to work on in our community.
Well, you know what? Well, it's really shameful because, again, the sort of businesses that I just named, the gas station, the grocery stores, the nail shops, liquor stores, fast food stores, all of these businesses are owned by people outside of the African-American community, and these businesses are cash rich. They are generating tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and if you consider ownership of these businesses for years and decades, literally millions of dollars, all that money is moving outside of our community. Mr. Delanato and Atiba, I am frustrated,
well,
and here's where my frustration. Yes,
go ahead.
Here's where my frustration is. I feel that the so-called black bourgeoisie, if you will, educated people, some of the older business owners who sold their businesses and who moved their businesses and their homes outside of the black community have really let down the black community. Some of these people have moved themselves into the solidly middle-class realm, and they did not invest in the black community, either by way of real estate or businesses, and they took their money and they moved out and they left the community without that intellect and those deep pockets that many black people do have. And so I'm somewhat disappointed by that.
Well, let's say that's true. So the next step that I encourage people to take, pick up a copy of Black Pages International, go to the website. All those businesses that Ted talked about, they're there. And so what I do and what I would suggest that you do individually, develop a relationship with them. All you have to do is to call them, email them, visit their website with the intent to develop a relationship. Many of them want to pass that information on. Many of them are in the succession stage. They want to get out of the business. They want to share it with somebody. So if you really want it, I said, if you really want it, then you must take the initiative. You must take the initiative as an individual. I didn't say we, us, them. I said you as an individual. Take the initiative, develop a relationship with many of these business owners, and start to work with them. There are still gas stations that blacks own in the Chicagoland area. Did you know that? There's a black gas station in Phoenix. And the reason why is because many people do not use this publication and the website as a resource guide just to go through it and find out who's there, how can you contact them, and then to contact them. That's the virtual difference between the urbanites in 2020 and the people who came to Chicago in the 40s and the 50s. They were from an agricultural culture. What does that mean? That means that they had to plant something, they had to nurture it, and they had to expect it to grow. That's key. You had to expect it to grow. So that's a smaller number of you who are listening. So you that are listening, if you want to get into that number that I said, to become independent, to call your shots, to control your time, to circulate your dollars, you simply go to blackpagesinternational.com, pick up a directory, and call and nurture a relationship with all the businesses that Attorney London mentioned. All of those businesses are there right now, today.
That is a wonderful perspective. Thank you so much for that. And I am just literally taking notes and absorbing this information, especially as a young person. One thing I wanted to ask you about, Mr. London, is this, because you raised such an excellent point when you mentioned all these businesses, but I just wanted to add something that actually makes it a little bit more insidious. Not only are we not making any of these dollars in these business, but we see the hair supply store, right? That's usually owned by Asians, nail shops, Asians, gas station, Arabs, liquor store, Arab. At this point, most J&J Fishes have Arab people in it.
That's true.
My question, the thing that makes it even more insidious is that none of the people from those communities don't spend any money with us either. So not only are we not making that money, but they're in turn, there is nothing that they come to the black community for. They don't eat black food. They don't do anything fiscally with black people. So not only are we not making that money, but it's nothing in return that they want from us as well.
And you know what? And we don't seem to want to do anything about it. We don't seem to want to really make any real effort. Sometimes that effort would make us uncomfortable to really get a hold of the black businesses in Chicago. I think if some of the people knew how much some of these businesses were earning, it would blow their mind. And you know what? I was talking to someone early today about black people owning black businesses, and they were saying, well, where should the black people get the money to open up these black businesses? Banks won't finance them. Well, we know banks are not going to finance you. Here's where you get the money if you want to open up a business. You have to go to your family. You have to go to your parents and your grandparents and your aunts and your uncles. That's the way black businesses were financed decades ago, and the strategy still works. You get the money, you find yourself a location, you get the equipment, you struggle, and you put it together, and you open up. And here is the good news, I can testify to this. Black folks want to support black businesses. My clients are 99% black folks, and they make an effort to come to my office from west side, north side, south suburbs, western suburbs. Black folks will make the effort. That is the good news. But black folks need to give black consumers a greater opportunity to support black businesses. So they are there, like Mr. Delanato said, get the black pages. But here's one thing that I do. I keep a list, and I'm going to encourage you all to do the same thing, of black professionals. Again, I have a list of an accountant, of a dentist, of a physician, of an insurance agent, of a real estate broker, of an attorney, of a financial planner, of an architect, of other businesses that are owned by black folks that I support. And if someone needs a referral, I can make a recommendation easily. And so keep a list next to your bed on your cocktail table of black businesses that if you're talking to one of your friends and you're chatting with them and say, you know what, I need an accountant, you know what, I need a lawyer, you know what, I need a real estate broker. Say, hey, here's a person I use. You know what? Give them a try. That's the way business is built, and we need to get back to supporting black businesses, and that is just one way to do it, to have your own list of black businesses that you can recommend when you're chatting with your friends and they say they need a particular service.
You are listening to Attorney Ted London of the law offices of Ted London, and he is giving us an excellent tutorial and talking about the power of referral, right? And so that is again excellent information. If you don't mind, Mr. Lynn, I'd like to go back to something Mr. Delanato spoke about a moment ago, and that was this idea. Like usually because we're trying to change a culture here, and usually people are so overwhelmed at the thought of opening a business, or they think that their contribution is too small. But one thing that you did highlight was about not a group of people. You. And if you could just speak to the power of encouraging someone to know that their individual contribution can be enough.
Well, you must, in my opinion, all of these businesses, including Attorney London, started with themselves, and they believed in the idea that they had. And so we talked last time about your imagination, to imagine and believe that you can make that imaginative idea materialize into something formative. So that's the first step, to believe in yourself and that you can do that. Attorney London said something that's instructive again. Will those who are listening, will you make out a list? Will you go to blackpagesinternational.com? Will you get a copy of the directory? Will you make out a list of 10 to 12 businesses? Will you strike up a relationship with them? If you'll do that, then you're putting yourself on the track of being self-sufficient and self-sustaining. All of those other ethnicities that we talked about, that is part of their formula. They work together. They share. They love each other. They speak positively about each other. And they speak positively about themselves. So these are all instructions that you need to think about. How are you communicating with yourself? Do you really believe that you can start a business that will give you the type of income that those other ethnicities are draining from your community? Tomorrow, they will caught up millions of dollars Friday evening, and that is your money. And that's simply because you chose to give it to them. You came to the table without a dream and simply take the time to dream again. That's the fundamental difference between our community 60 years ago and where it is now. And there's still others out there. They want you to call them. I want you to call me and to challenge me. Delanato, help me start a LLC. Help me to start a business. If you call me and I feel that you can sustain or willing to sustain your dream, because it's hard work. And if you are willing to do the hard work to make your dreams come true, then you'll make a WVON materialize just as it did some 50 or 60 years ago.
And to be clear, Mr. Delanato and Nativa, and you listeners out there as well, there are still plenty of opportunities for black people to get into business today, and have a long, serving, thriving business that black people will support. Whether you're a professional service like a real estate broker, lawyer, physician, accountant, financial planner, insurance agent, there are black people who are looking to support your business, whether you want to own a bakery, a restaurant, whatever sort of business that you, a home health care service business, you name it, there are opportunities for you. It is not too late. But be clear about something. There's a lot of money in the African American community. I am personally a little frustrated that so much of it leaves our community by way of us supporting businesses in our community that are not owned by black folks. And we just simply just do it over and over and over and over again unconsciously, and all our money is spilling out of our community, and we're left here, too many of us, with nothing. And it really just doesn't make sense. Black people, and if I may as well, this is not for everyone either. This is not for all black folks. All black folks, just like all white folks, aren't meant to own businesses. But there are some of you who are meant to be able to deal with the adversity that owning a business brings, and to manage the adversity, and really to earn a lot of money. And so adversity comes with business ownership, but really so does great wealth opportunities as well. So it's not for all of you, but some of you should really get into this pool, place your business in a solid African-American community, market your business, and you will have a successful business, period. But we need more black people to be doing those things.
So if that is you, contact Attorney Ted London's office. Leave your information there. Pick up copies of the publication Black Pages International. Go to the website, blackpagesinternational.com. Give Eugene Delanato a call, 773-407-1470, 773-407-1470. If that is really what you're passionate about, if that's really what you've been dreaming about, that there are plenty of black businesses who are looking to collaborate with you. We love you. We want to see you affluent. We want to see you develop institutions and pass intergenerational wealth. How bad do you want it?
Excellent point here. I'm sorry, we had a call, Mr. London.
Yes,
Did you want to
let's take it, please.
Okay, cool.
Please.
We've got JD on line one. Thanks for calling. What's your question or comment for Attorney Ted London?
Yes, my parents passed and didn't leave any one of the children on the deed to the house, but my sister added siblings to it. Is that legal? Can they be removed, or can they be added? What situation is that?
You know what? Why don't you give me a call at my office? Number is 773-721-3333. There may be more to that scenario than you can tell me on the air here. So give me a call and let's see what's going on, and we'll give you some information.
At 721-3333?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. You know what? Any other calls, Atiba?
No, sir.
God, you know what? I want to say this to you listeners who may be interested and inclined to go into business for yourself. The reality is there has never been a better time to move into business ownership. There's a lot of storefronts available, and there's a lot of grants available for businesses throughout the state of Illinois and really throughout the country. So if you put some effort in to find some grants, call your alderman, call your state reps, call your state senators. There are state grants, local grants, federal grants. There's a lot of grants out there to help you monetize your business and to fund it. So we need more black businesses. We know that there's 13% population of black folks, only 5% or 6% black business ownership. So we're down by about 7% in black ownership. There's a lot of space for black ownership. Black people do and will support black businesses, and they want to support you. And we're encouraging black people to support black business, but we need more black businesses for black people to support as well.
Absolutely. I think every conversation we have with you, Attorney London, is important today, and this series that we've done on black business, I think, is one of the most important conversations we've ever had.
Well, you know, we have so much money leaking out of our community that can be going to smart, hardworking black folks. They're smart, hardworking black folks. You know what? We haven't really been trained so much to go into business. Ordinarily, in my generation, we've been trained to get jobs, work for a corporation, work for these businesses, work for government. But you know what? They aren't hiring us the way that they used to. And so it's really a blessing for some of us to not have some of those careers, some of those spaces, and really move into the entrepreneur space. Really, you'd be so happy. And some of you are going to end up kicking yourself for not having done it sooner. So get involved, get your business marketed, and black folks, as they say, if you build it, they will come.
We're coming up to the end of the hour, but Mr. Delanato, if you could just, again, remind the listeners of the Black Pages International and how they can get it.
Well, the website is blackpagesinternational.com, blackpagesinternational.com. Ted London's office is on East 87th Street. There are plenty of copies of the directory there. The new directory is coming out in July. So if you want to promote or advertise in that, you still have a few weeks to do that.
Mr. Delanato, do you have a number that you'd like to share with the listeners?
773-407-1470, 773-407-1470.
Last word, Attorney London.
Well, you know what? Again, I can't thank the listeners enough. Again, there is good news. Black folks want to support black businesses, and they, in fact, are. We just need more black businesses to support. Let's take our businesses back. Let's take our community back. Let's pool our money together. You can ask your parents and your grandparents, your aunts and uncles for some money to open up a business. Make sure you have it planned. But we don't need banks. We can get some of this money from our family and some of the people in our communities if we have a viable idea.
There is your call to action from Attorney Ted London. Let's take him at his word. Let's do what he says, good people of Chicago. Attorney London, we look so forward. Thank you so much for today, and we look forward, as always, to having you come back next week.
Thank you. And Mr. Delanato, thank you so very much, sir.
Hey, Attorney London, thank you, sir.